Hello, everyone. To encourage EV adoption, and is it in their best interest to do so? Stay tuned as we delve into these interesting topics and shed light on the path to a greener future. In today's video, we go deep into the world of electric vehicles, focusing on the amazing tax breaks and incentives that Canadian buyers can take advantage of. Get ready to be amazed as we reveal insider information that could change the way you think about EBS in Canada. First things first, please give this video a thumbs up and hit the follow button if you're new to our channel. With that out of the way, let's start this video. Elon Musk is against tax credits for electric vehicles, saying that Tesla doesn't need them. However, governments around the world have decided to encourage people to buy EVs by giving them big discounts in the form of thousands of dollars in tax credits. This plan is meant to get people to switch from gas-powered cars to electric ones in the US. For example, people who buy an electric car can get up to $7,500 in tax credits, which makes it more affordable to buy a Tesla or other electric car. In Canada, on the other hand, tax breaks for electric cars are less generous, with only a few thousand Canadian dollars available in some provinces. However, there are certain conditions that allow Canadians to get up to a $50,000 discount on a test drive this year in 2023. This is a huge opportunity for many potential electric car buyers, saving them tens of thousands of dollars and making Teslas more available to a wider range of people. You can get free instant stock quotes and a lot of financial info from the past 15 years here. Despite its reputation for having a lot of oil, the world is quickly switching to electric vehicles, which are putting fossil fuel-powered cars in the shade. Canada still buys oil from other countries, mostly for Ontario and Quebec. Using EVs would help the country in many ways, like making it less reliant on oil from other countries and creating jobs in industry, research and development, and building up infrastructure. Canada has a lot of natural materials that are in high demand for making electric cars that don't pollute the environment. Vehicles can greatly reduce air pollution, which in turn improves public health. For these reasons, it is in the best interest of every province in Canada to invest in and promote EVs, protecting their citizens in the long term and avoiding falling behind as other countries quickly adopt similar measures. However, Ontario, home to nearly 40% of Canada's population, gave up on its plans to offer incentives for electric vehicles in 2018. Ontario's power grid is mostly powered by clean energy sources like nuclear and hydro, so this choice is disappointing. Thinking about it, even though coal use was cut down from 2005 to 2015, 10% of the grid still uses fossil fuels based on natural gas. Right now, there is an EV incentive for people in Ontario, but it comes from the federal government giving up to $5,000 off of certain Tesla models. It works for the all-wheel drive long-range dual-motor Model 1, the rear-wheel drive Model 3, and the Model A. Because Canada has harsh weather like winter snowstorms, many Canadians prefer larger all-wheel drive vehicles, especially trucks and SUVs, which are popular in the country. The all-wheel drive Model I starts at $47,000 to $50,000 in the US, but Tesla sells the all-wheel drive versions starting at $70,000 Canadian. This price is considered high-end even with the federal government's $5,000 rebate. Adding in the 13% tax rate makes the cost of electric vehicles in Ontario out of reach for many people. And they bring Quebec, where buyers not only get the $5,000 federal credit, but the province also offers an extra $7,000 on select models. People in Quebec have a great chance to get a lot of benefits by moving to electric cars. In addition to having much higher gas prices than Ontario, Quebec also has a lot of cheap electricity. A shocking 94% of the province's electricity comes from renewable hydro sources. While the Ontario government doesn't seem to be too concerned about the EV revolution, the Canadian government is quietly encouraging people to buy electric cars by offering a number of tax breaks. These benefits could be even better than the $5,000 rebate that was offered in 2023. This is a smart move. Businesses in Canada can now get a 100% tax break when they buy electric cars. This reward is meant to get people to use them more. It's interesting that this tax break isn't just for corporations. Any business can claim it as long as the electric vehicles are mostly used for business and not for personal reasons more than half of the time. The vehicles must also have been newly purchased or leased for at least 3 years and mainly used in Canada. There are some other requirements listed on the government's website, but it's not too hard to qualify for this credit if you make business income. Surprisingly, there are no price limits on the electric vehicle being bought. The only requirement is that they are eligible zero-emission passenger vehicles. This includes plug-in hybrids with a battery capacity of at least 7 kilowatt hours, as well as fully electric or hydrogen-powered vehicles. Usually, electric cars fall into the Class 54 passenger vehicle category, which allows for a 30% deduction rate. The cap was originally set at $55,000, but it has been raised to $60,000 for 2023. The same rules were in place for Class 55 vehicles, which include taxis and rental cars. Moreover, the government is briefly removing the half-year rule for these groups. This rule generally cuts the deduction in half in the first year, but it has been put on hold so that people can fully benefit from the $100 deduction in the first year. To add to the excitement, this is the last year that these taxes fully apply. Starting next year, in 2024, you will no longer be able to deduct 100% of the vehicle's capital cost limit. Instead, the deduction rate will drop to 75% until 2026, and then it will drop even more to 55% until 2028. After that, the car's value will drop using normal CCA rules. Still, these 75 and 55% discounts are still paid in the first year of ownership, which is why buying an EV in 2023 is the best choice and could significantly change the purchase price for many buyers. Let's take a closer look at the Tesla Model Y, especially the long-range, dual-motor, all-wheel drive model that starts at less than $70,000 in Canada. You can get either a $5,000 federal incentive or a $100 tax deduction for business purchases with this model. However, it's important to remember that you can only choose one of these choices based on your specific situation by picking the better option. Canadians who buy the Model Y can get a $5,000 credit, which brings the price down to $65,000 before sales tax. Now, let's look at the benefits for people who buy the Model Y for business purposes. Assuming a 43% national tax rate and meeting the income requirements, the $100,000 deduction that is available for the whole vehicle is a big plus. In the first year, the car is basically seen as a cost, and the full value, up to a maximum of $60,000, is taken out of the buyer's income, leaving a deduction of $26,230. The price of the Model Y drops below $44,000, which is a huge incentive for buyers. The buyer would get back the money they saved from the tax deduction the following year. These incentives are worth more than the $5,000 flat rate, though the exact value depends on individual tax rates. For example, if the marginal tax rate is 50% or higher, buying the rear-wheel drive Model Y, starting at $60,000, would make the entire car tax deductible in the first year, giving the buyer a 50% discount. It's also important to note that the prices listed above don't include sales tax. Finally, the all-wheel drive Model Y falls under the SUV category, which has a maximum manufacturer's suggested retail price of $71,000 to qualify. The Model Y is priced at $69,900. It's hard to add more features without going over the limit, but there is a way around this problem. Software-based features can be bought separately after purchasing the car. For example, Tesla's full self-drive option, which costs an extra $20,000, can be added later without adding to the purchase price. Canadians have a big financial reason to switch to electric cars, EVs. They can deduct 100% of their taxes on them.